everybody. Welcome to the Heat with Keats. I am your host, Nikita Russell, and I have a very, very interesting, special, sensational guest with me today, Lazzarus Creed. Thank you for coming today.
I appreciate you. I'm excited for you to have me today.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this for a while. I just
too.
want to let everyone know, everyone that's tuning in, this is not scripted. Even questions she wanted to send me, I refused because I just wanted this to be off the top, natural, and whatever flows, flows. So if anyone after this is upset with me, you can DM me. I won't open it.
Disclaimer, there you go. So yes, damn, where do I start? You have a great platform. You've been doing a lot of motivational stuff. I love your TikToks. I love your Instagrams. I love the reels and the message that you put out there. Just tell the people what you're about first, and then we'll get into it.
Awesome. All right. I appreciate that, first of all. So I am a artist manager. I'm a creative director. I do a bunch of creative things. I do a bunch of things on the business side of things, a bunch of investments, a bunch of entrepreneurial things. We won't get into that and bore you guys. And you know, the things that matter is what I'm really about is my purpose. I'm purpose driven. I care about standing up for what I believe in. And I care about shutting all that crap down that they keep shoving down our throats. So I'm here to speak my truth. I'm here to put out the truth. And if this is of interest in you, keep watching. You're in the right place.
Fantastic. So what motivates you to get on your podcast? And, you know, I think you said purpose, right?
Yeah.
So it's important for you to obviously help people, especially young men. Mm-hmm. I noticed that from your TikToks and from your social media, and the fans can find you there later. But what motivates you and inspires you to get on your platform and try to speak the truth to people?
Yeah, so I've had, a rough path. Mm-hmm. I've had a path where I was a very unmasculinated man.
Okay.
I came out of a big heartbreak last year, and I came out and I was fat. I was ugly. I want to say ugly. I was ugly on the outside, but also ugly on the inside. I had no values, I had no morals, I had no direction. I dumped all my energy into the relationship that I forgot to dump energy into myself. So after spending this last year in solitude, I've lost over 80 pounds of fat.
Wow.
I got fit in the gym. I've learned about fasting. I learned about eating healthy. I learned about how to become a man. I can genuinely admit that I wasn't always this way. I was always outspoken. I was always loud. I always had people upset with the things I said. Mm-hmm. But even back then, I could admit, was I even saying the things I believed in? Or was I just accepting what I heard on social media or online and just giving it out to the people? So this last year, I really found myself.
Okay.
It was probably the first time I was single in 7 years.
7 years. That's almost a decade.
Yeah. I was
that's intense.
Haven't been single for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I think something I can talk about, and I'm going to jump a lot in this if that's okay.
Yes, please. Please do that.
Yeah. Something I'll talk a lot about is a problem we rely on other people to make us feel good. And as a man, as a boy, I've done that for years, where I would let other women or other men validate me, especially women. Mm-hmm. As men, as boys, becoming men, we tend to let women dictate our lives for a very big chunk of it. I'm talking about sex. I'm talking about the chase of the woman, the chase of, being inside a woman, having sexual interaction with a woman. It's what drives us men. It's what drives us to our core. All we think about at the end of the day is, how am I going to get that pussy? How am I going to get that girl? How am I going to get that next one? Or how am I going to please her? How am I going to get there? How am I going to get what I want? And that continuous chase of women or pleasing women or pleasing a counterpart of us. Because I can admit, before, I devoted my life to my partner. I devoted my life. And a problem we do in partnership a lot is we think that it's, I bring 50% to the table and you bring 50% to the table. And the truth is, we both got 100% show up for ourselves first.
Right.
Then we can talk about the whole dividend stuff.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's intense. So when you talk about like men, young men today, personally think are struggling the most. I feel like women have so many avenues to do anything that they want to do. But men can't be overweight. Men can't be broke. Men can't
Let's get into
be,
that.
you know what I mean? So coming from a place like that yourself, would you say you were like that, you know, before the relationship? Or do you think that you went into a relationship not knowing what manhood was about?
I'm going to use a big word.
Yeah.
That we're all afraid of in today's world, especially with all the dopamine thrown into our brain, is discomfort.
Yeah.
When I was in a relationship, I was very comfortable. Very comfortable. Comfortable with my weight, comfortable with my health, comfortable with myself, comfortable with my overdying need of always wanting to have sex with my partner, overdying need of needing that interaction, or overdying need to be around her or need things from her, or being needy. And that was comfortability. In today's world, everyone wants to be comfortable. That's why there's
It's all
so
about
many
comfort.
venues.
Yeah. And it's all about dopamine. Like, it's all about, like, you know, you wake up, the first thing you do, you open your phone. And that's a dopamine rush right there. Porn, social media, food, substances, you know what I mean? So how do you say you came out of this like 7-year long relationship. That must have been really hard. So you've been out of this for like a year, right?
Yes.
What has changed mentally with you, physically with you, spiritually with you? And can you tell us like how, if anyone else is out there that might be going through the same transition, what were you feeling? Because obviously there was no comfort in that transition. So talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, during heartbreak, I think heartbreak is the best thing that makes you successful. Because again, when we're in love, we're comfortable. But when I got my heart broken and I was hurt and I was down, I needed to start, I was alone. I would cry in my room alone. I'd be afraid to talk to someone because, you know, men were usually taught to bottle up our emotions and not be outspoken. And especially in today's world, we got to shut up. And I can be honest, you know, if people get mad at this, women are allowed to have a voice. Women are allowed to, as you said, women are allowed to, you know, put out what they feel and they get chanted for it. And then men, it's like, I want to express something. And it's like, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Be a man.
Yeah, be a man. And I agree about, there's things we can talk about being a man later on.
Yeah.
But being a man also requires vulnerability. That's something that's not talked about a lot, is being vulnerable. Be honest with yourself. And if you can't do that with yourself first, you're fucked. You're doomed. You're doomed. And coming out of like a partnership like that, in a relationship, being heartbroken, I realized I was alone. I realized I was in a very dark place. I realized my whole life I was depending on someone to fill something inside me.
Inside of you, yeah.
And coming out of that, I realized I had to man up. I had to, wait, maybe there's a reason why my relationship didn't work out. Well, first of all, I didn't put any time in myself. So I was fat. I was lazy. Maybe I can actually call myself out. Maybe I actually required too much sex. I was always asking her. I always needed it from her.
Okay.
I always needed it from her. It destroyed our partnership because of that. I can admit to that. I don't like talking about what another person did. So I'll only ever talk about what I did.
Accountability.
Accountability. And I can admit I've destroyed it by being lazy or being fat or being, I didn't want to hustle enough, or I didn't want to put enough effort to hear her, see her, make her feel seen and heard. And coming out of that, I only learned that when I got out of it. And it sucks, but also I'm glad I had that moment of clarity, of discomfort, and also reading a lot of books, watching a lot of videos, spending a lot of time alone.
That's excellent. Yeah. That's excellent. So when you talk about, so this transition, there's a lot here. First of all, number one, what I wanted to ask you, who is somebody that during this transition you've looked up to a lot? When it comes to, whether it be motivational speakers, whether it be an author. I know for me, it's Jordan Peterson, but for you, like, who is someone that helped you get out of this breakup and help you become a man, enter manhood?
All right. So there's multiple people. Let's start with the first one, who people are probably going to have a problem with the most.
Okay.
And that's Andrew Tate.
Of course.
So, yeah.
I'm an Andrew Tate fan, by the way, guys. So please don't cancel me for that. But I am. I like him. And I think he does a lot for young men. But yes, please continue.
He did a lot for me. I'm going to say that right to the camera right now. Andrew Tate changed my life. And I know I go out with some of my friends. and they're like, listen, Laz, I know you love Andrew Tate, but please don't talk about it in the public. Don't
Oh
post
my God,
him.
they say that
Don't
to
post
you?
him in your stories. Don't. I know you fuck with him, but don't post him in your
I
stories.
lost a friend because I posted him too.
Yeah.
Not because I posted him, but she was like, I don't like the when you send me his videos, Nikita, I don't really like him, it's triggering me.
Yes.
So, that contributed to me losing one of my friendships, but please continue.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there. I've
yeah,
been there
yeah.
where
I hate that.
I finally broke the fear barrier and posted him in my story about a month ago. And I
Yeah.
lost like 10 to 20 followers.
Really?
Yeah.
Just from a
story post.
And what was the post?
And
what was
it
he
was
saying?
a post him talking about the importance of family. The importance of keeping the family unit together. And people are getting mad at me for posting that. What are people saying in my stories? Misogynist, rapist, trafficker. And I'm like, where are you getting your information from? Where? Oh, I read a CNN post. I saw a 30-second clip on TikTok. I'm like, yo, did you go to Rumble and watch his 5-hour sit down? Did you watch his
Rumble.
6-hour podcast? Did you actually sit down and digest what he said? Because listen, I could have, when I first saw his clips, I got a little triggered. And do you know why I got triggered? Because I was not a man. Because I knew he was right and I was wrong. And that's another thing men suck at doing, is being like, men, we always want to be right. We always want to be the strong guy that's like, everything I say and do is my way. Everything I say and do is right. I have nothing to fix for myself. I was like that. I didn't want to fix anything. I didn't want to grow. I didn't want to evolve. When I first saw Andrew Tate's clips, I'm like, yo, screw this guy. He says I have to go to the gym. He says I should stop doing drugs and drinking so much. Fuck that guy. He's wrong. Or like, I'm doing that. Like, it's just men in general, we never want to change. We never want to grow. We never want to.
Stubbornness.
We're stubborn. We're stubborn to our core and stubborn to what we believe. And I have to admit, watching Andrew Tate, reading his book, The Tate Bible, subscribing to him on Rumble and watching his 4, 5, 6, 7 hour content has made me a better man.
Yeah.
Has
And
made
you
me a
lost
better
weight
man.
too, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about that too, because Andrew Tate is big on fitness, but so is masculinity and being a man and stuff like that. So what, what helped you with that? Because that's hard to do. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like losing weight, like transforming your body, getting healthier.
Yes.
What are the things you cut out? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the health part of it.
Absolutely. First of all, I have to give credit to where credit's due. Christian Mariconda, Flower City Child, the artist I manage, superstar soon. I gotta give credit to him because he was the one. He's been healthy his whole life. He's been fit his whole life, abs and all that stuff.
Nice,
And
nice.
just being his best friend always motivated me. But back then, again, like I just didn't want to be better.
Yeah.
So just seeing him, I have to give him credit because he was the one that first ever got me in the gym. And then my own research. Learning about weight loss, learning about certain things I have to do to get to where I need to be. And again, I'll bring up Andrew Tate once more.
Please do.
Andrew Tate talks a lot about fasting.
Top G.
And Dr. Eric Berg. I always love to name drop people that helped me. I learned a lot about fasting and the importance of that. We don't need to eat all day. This is the one thing. Anyone who wants to lose weight, listen up. It's not just the gym. I've been going to the gym for a couple of years. I didn't lose any weight. I was always fat. The gym is good for stamina. It's good for performance, good for muscle building. But if you are fat, it's the food you eat. And
definitely.
we can transition to a conversation about food.
Yeah.
I
Let's
can
talk
just
about
dive
it for
into
a
that.
little bit. Yeah.
Getting into food, we are pushed fucking chemicals by society, by the government, just throwing shit in our food. You look at all the foods we eat. You look at the ingredients of pasta. You go to a grocery store here in Canada. Same with the U.S. You look at pasta, you see all these words I can't pronounce.
Yeah, me too.
Like all these chemicals. But then you go to Italy, you go to Egypt, you look at the same
Argentina.
exactly. You go to the same pasta, it doesn't have those chemicals.
No, it doesn't.
You go
And it
to,
doesn't give you that itis. that
No,
we
it
feel
doesn't give
here.
you itis. It doesn't make you bloated.
Real Italian food, like in Italy, doesn't give you that same I'm so tired, I'm so full.
Absolutely.
Like you don't feel sick
Absolutely.
after, right? Yeah, for
Because
sure.
in Italy, there's actually a place in Italy where people live up to 100 and all they do is eat carbs.
Yeah.
But it's not the carb crap that we eat here. There's also things coming back to my weight loss journey is I learned, why am I even eating that? Like what I'm fat. Why am I eating fries? Why am I eating McDonald's? Why am I eating fast food? Like I just quit fast food. I don't eat that crap anymore.
That's good.
Like fast food, that's low frequency food. There's no purpose to eat that. It doesn't. Something I've learned is I don't need anything outside of my body to help me. Like anything outside of my body, if it's not doing me justice, why am I putting it in my body?
Right.
It's like weed. I used to smoke weed 13 years of my life. 13 years.
Yeah, weed is a thing, like with the younger generation too. Like a lot of people are reliant on weed. So
Absolutely.
13 years?
13
You
years
just
I
gave
was
it up?
smoking weed, and I gave it up cold turkey. I didn't.
Why is
I
that
didn't.
though? Because people say that, it's just a herb, you know what I mean? It's not doing anything.
I'll be honest, it's a part of my culture. So in Egypt,
Okay.
And going down to Ethiopia, that's where Rastafarianism started. Where Haile Selassie came. He came with the Coptic Pope Kyrillos, and they opened up the actual Rastafarian movement. I like it for spiritual purpose. If you use it for spiritual purpose, okay, I'm not going to touch on that.
Okay.
But I can admit I was using it as a vice. I was not using it for spiritual purpose.
Gotcha.
Even at points I lied to myself. I'm like, oh, it's good. I'm using it for spiritual purpose.
But you weren't.
I'm like, I'm high and lazy. What's the point?
Yeah, it makes you lethargic, right?
What's the point? Whether it's mushrooms, LSD, whatever it is. Like any drugs I've done, I just stopped. I cut all drugs out cold turkey. I don't need that in my life. Even alcohol, I'll still drink time to time, but I used to drink a lot. I cut that out of my life. I have a drink here and there, but cigars is the only crutch right now that I have. But I buy the pure tobacco. But coming back again to weight loss is just I can say this. Weight loss has to do with the food you're eating.
Yeah.
And health in general is we don't need a lot of things that we think we need. We don't need to eat pasta. Again, I was a fat guy. You're a skinny girl. You need your carbs. Me, I don't need my carbs. And if you're watching this and you're fat, this is your signal to stop being fat. It's not body positivity. You're ugly. Because I was ugly. Fuck, man. This whole body positivity shit, I'm going to talk to the camera right now, is bullshit. Whoa, let's praise that fat girl for looking good. You're not a fucking model. Get off the runway if you're fucking fat. You're ugly. And I get a pass because I was 300 pounds.
Oh my God.
Yes.
How much do you weigh now?
190.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Thank you.
What? That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Good for
thank
you. Props. Yeah, that's amazing. Jeez. Yeah. No, but you're right. Like, I feel like for men specifically, that you're forced to look a certain way, to have a certain amount of money, to have a certain amount of status. And like you were just saying, like, it's a very sensitive topic, but when it comes to gender, when it, when women can get away, I guess, with being a certain size, but men can't. Like, a girl is not going to look a fat dude's way, I guess. Yes. You know what I mean? So good for you for accomplishing that in your life. And when you, but it's interesting to me that you accomplished this after your relationship.
Yes.
Getting out of the relationship.
Yes.
So that relationship was not serving you correctly, right? I do believe that proper marriages and proper relationships can serve people
100%.
and you motivate each other, but 100%. Clearly that relationship, I guess, had a toxic side to it.
Absolutely.
Where you did allow yourself to get fat. You did allow yourself to smoke a lot of weed and drink and have bad habits and stuff. Do you ever find yourself, I guess, having a level of recidivism where you feel like you're gonna break this healthy streak that you're on? Like, you ever want to go back?
Never.
And why is that? Talk about that.
Okay, one thing that's helped me, the one magic word I love to talk about is discipline. Discipline. I always look back at him like, why was I a shit boyfriend? Discipline. I had no discipline. Why was I shit son? Why was I a broke person? Like, why was I just broke in my heart, broke in my pockets? Why was I just trash? Like, I can admit I was a trash person. And that's because I lacked discipline. Yeah. I wake up, I get high, I'm comfortable my day. I got consumed by social media in the sense of like, I love spirituality and I love that stuff. But what I hate is like the whole, like, I'm scrolling my phone and you see like, oh, don't worry, you have all the time in the world. And, oh, yo, don't be so hard on yourself. And, oh, don't this, that. I'm like, shut up. Because all that stuff made me lazy. It made me comfortable. Maybe you're like, oh, yo, I got all the time and I got this and I got that. And again, something we lack in North America and in society as men is discipline. We have no discipline. Nothing. We're driving around, drunk and high. I got to go pick up that Big Mac. I got to go smoke that spliff. I got to go fuck that bitch. Excuse my language.
Or go gaming.
Yes. It's
so many things to distract us in society.
distractions on top of distractions.
So many,
All we have is like, it's like we're in Vegas nonstop.
Yeah.
It's like we live in Vegas in our eyes all day, every day. So we always need distraction. And there's no discipline. If you lack discipline, I've lacked discipline for so long. If you lack discipline, you're going to be a low-level human being in general. This goes for men and women. Mm-hmm. I can only speak on men because I am a man.
Yeah. No, but this applies for both.
Yes.
It does.
It's discipline in general.
Yeah.
You are a lacklustered person because it was discipline that changed me. It was me being able to be like, no, I don't want to do that. And a big part of it, you were saying in my transition, a big part of it is celibacy. Like celibacy is a huge thing I rave about.
See, I don't understand that one though, because yes, God created sex for a man and a woman, but what does that do for a man? Because like girls I think the majority of porn consumers are men. It's not necessarily women. So like, but what is that for men though? Because like, are they really like, what is like, I don't understand the celibacy, because it seems like celibacy serves men a little bit more than it does women.
Yes.
Why is that?
Okay. First of all, it serves both partners equally. But at times in a relationship, a man is the one who's more sex hungered.
Okay.
It's natural. I can attest to that, to like my past relationship. I'm going to say something right now that I've learned. I'm going to look at the camera again because I want y'all to hear this. Literally hear this. Women, y'all wombs are a sacred place. What goes in your vagina is going to stay there for life. So if you're letting in a traumatized man inside you, I always see girls who are like, I have a headache, I'm getting anxiety, I feel depressed, I feel sad. And it's like, it's because you keep fucking guys that are having anxiety, are traumatized, and are only fucking you because they just want to come. This is what sex has turned into. Sex has turned into wanting to come. I want to feel good. I want to come. And coming is the worst part about sex. Sex is a sacred act. It's a loving act. Sex is natural. I love sex, but I was addicted to sex for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. I was not using it as an outlet of love. Mm-hmm. I was not using it as an outlet of cherishing my partner. I did not even understand the womb, which unfortunately 99% of men don't understand the womb. The womb is a sacred place. And I'm going to say things right now that might be controversial, but women are closer to God than men. That's something I'm always going to believe.
Because they're creators.
Women are creators. I cannot birth. I can't give birth. I can't give birth. You can. You're closer to God than me. So in a thriving partnership, that's why a woman, you must treat her like a goddess. You're going to always be more sacred than me. It's just a fact. I can't birth. You can. And because you have that birthing energy.
Well, according to today's society, anyone can birth. I'm just saying.
Only men,
please continue.
Only women can give birth. Only women can give birth.
Agreed.
I'll say this and we'll come back to the sex talk. Labels are some of the most stupidest things created on earth. Saying you're something, like, listen, I don't care your sexuality. One of my favorite cousins is gay. One of my friends is gay. I don't care. I don't care what way you swing. I literally have a love for gay people. They're always kind, nice people. I don't have a problem with anyone. Any sexuality you choose. What I have a problem with is labels. Is like, I identify as he, she, be, she, blah, 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 blah. Like, shut up. Mm-hmm. Like,
there are biological markers for what you are.
Like, any label is just more identity. And more identity is just more of a closed mind.
Yeah,
that goes for religion. That goes for sexuality. That goes for anything. If you put yourself in a box, I am a transgender Christian. Do you understand? You just blocked yourself in to that window, and you're not allowing yourself to see anything beyond, which we can talk about inquiry. Inquiry. Something in society, we lack questions. We lack asking questions. We lack being open to new perspective. Like, there's people that are watching this and they're going to get pissed. That guy saying that, fuck that guy. Instead of being like, I might not agree with him, but it's his perspective.
Facts.
And listen, if people want all those labels, the he, she, the he, she, they, them, zoo, za, It's cool. It's nice. But I want you to know that's still just more identification. It's more identity.
Yeah.
And holding more identity to your name is not going to do anything for you.
It doesn't fill you inside. It just gives you a label in society that allows you to do certain things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But yeah, go back to talking about the like I guess we could call it sexual immorality. Right?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's something is such an important conversation to have.
It is because a lot of young people, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
like
absolutely.
a lot of young people are engaging in I guess engaging in sex and fornication and stuff, and they don't realize, like you said, that actually took me back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you were saying that when a girl, has a high body count or has slept with a lot of guys, those guys bring certain traumas, demonic energy, maybe if you're like spiritual.
Yes.
And you can actually absorb that energy, gets transitioned to you. It's a transition, not just with two bodies coupling, but it's also a transition of energies and spirits.
Yeah.
Good and bad spirits. That's what I truly believe.
100%.
So I do believe that the higher your body count, it's bad for you.
Yes.
I do believe that because like I have experience with that, and growing up in like a feminist liberal type of environment, especially in university, in college, hookup culture is celebrated. It's something you're supposed to do. So when you rank up your body count, it's like, oh yeah, you got to kill, yeah, like sick, you know what I mean? But really, you're left with like long-term effects like anxiety, depression, insecurities, things you don't even know why you're depressed. You don't even know why you're sad. But when you have sex with a lot of people, especially for women, I think it's worse for women. I'm sorry to say this. It's worse for a girl to have a higher body count than it is for a guy. 100%.
It comes back to the womb. It comes back to the womb.
That's exactly why.
It comes back to the womb. So equally for both partners, it's bad to have a high body count in general.
Yeah.
But it's going to affect the woman more.
The woman more,
It's
yeah.
going to affect the woman more because a man is a stick and he doesn't really hold on to energy. A woman, you're literally the chamber
You're
of
holding
all
it,
energy.
yeah.
You're the closest to the creator. You're the closest to God. So you are literally channeling any energy that comes in you and you're holding it.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back to just both partners, again, when I always vow that I'll only speak from experience. And I can admit, even coming out of my partnership and my relationship, I thought I wanted to have so much sex. Like coming out of my ex, I was like, I'm gonna have sex with that girl and that girl and that girl, because you delete pictures of your ex on Instagram, and all of a sudden every single IG model in the city is DMing you. And it's like,
And they're so accessible.
And so accessible.
Booty is so accessible.
Ooh, that guy treated his girl like that and did that and did that. Oh my God, go crazy in Lazzarus Creed's DMs. And at first I was like, shit, I'm gonna go out that girl, 2-3 dates a week. Yo, go to that restaurant in Yorkville and that restaurant in Yorkville and that. And then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? Why do these people deserve my energy?
Yeah.
Do these people even know what they want? Do I know even what I want? And I started realizing that I had to step back and cut sex out as a whole. Because sex in itself is such a sacred thing. I'm going to say that over and over again. It is a beautiful thing.
You can't just exchange it with someone you don't love. It doesn't even feel good after. You feel guilt.
Yes.
I know in the past when I was a little bit reckless when I was younger, like you feel guilt. You genuinely have anxiety. I did have anxiety.
Yes.
Sometimes I still do because of the past, right? So, I'm saying this to protect young women because we're all human. We make mistakes, right? Everyone here has made mistakes. Everyone in this room has made mistakes. Everyone that's watching has made mistakes. But you need to protect yourself moving further. And that's why I hate using the term. But red pill even saved me a little bit. The red pill community, being like understanding gender roles, understanding the importance of family and what sex is about, it saved me. It saved me from having bad friends, toxic friends, from toxic behaviors, habits, which some bad habits I still have. But you're absolutely right. I haven't heard that analogy before about the womb. I haven't heard that before. But that actually changes my mind a lot, how I view myself.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, I haven't heard it myself either until I studied. And that was the most powerful thing I did in these last 12 months is study. And, my brother, he loves to read a lot. I can't can't just sit there and hold a book.
Yeah.
I have ADHD. I'll just keep walking back and forth. But I'll do ebooks. I'll do YouTube videos. I'll do podcasts.
Yeah.
This is my favorite source of knowledge.
Yeah.
And just watching a lot of podcasts, whether it be Eckhart Tolle, Jay Shetty, Sadhguru, to Andrew Tate. I'm someone who is always open to multiple perspective. I'm open to hearing to multiple things and just gaining more knowledge. I learned a lot about tantric sex.
What is
that?
that?
Was a big thing. So
Tantric.
yes, tantric sex is the only sex we should all be having.
So what is that exactly? Explain.
So that is sex, purposeful sex. That's
Okay.
sex that actually activates the chakras. Again, if you don't believe in the whole chakra stuff like that, there's funny thing is, I'll say this: they're words. Chakras, Holy Spirit, divinity. Like every religion has a different word for it. Again, it's just labels. It's just labels. It's just labels. We can get into that after. But
People call it different things.
people call it different things. That's what I'm saying. So like whether you call it the spirit, the chakra, the divine, whatever you want to call it, is just a word made by man.
So what does tantric mean then?
So tantric is just the act of having. You know what? I'll simplify it for the viewers. Tantric is the act of having purposeful sex without needing to come. So.
Oh, but isn't that the whole point?
No, that's the thing. We can orgasm without the coming.
Okay.
And that's a whole other thing that can be activated through tantric sex. And that's something I am grateful. I can admit this is something, I've practiced in the past. I can give credit to where it's due. I'm grateful that me and my ex could have practiced tantric sex and we had it. We studied that together. We learned how to do deep breathing together, meditation through sex. And it's basically just, I'm going to get a little graphic here if that's okay. But, when a woman is sitting on top of you and you're inside her and you guys are making deep eye contact, and no matter how much she wants to start moving up to stroke, or how much you want to, give her that, you got to stop. You got to cut it off. You got to just hold, stare in each other's eyes. Deep breathe, deep breathe, deep breathe. And I promise you, once your breath is going to line up, you're going to orgasm. Your whole body is going to start shaking in an orgasm state without even having to.
Okay, so it's a meditative practice.
It's a meditative
thing.
practice.
Yeah, so like, so this is really good information for people that are listening, especially people that want to like enhance the quality of their lives, especially in their like relationships. I'm gonna change the direction a little bit though.
Please do.
I really want to know what are your thoughts on gender roles?
All right. Well, let's get into this. So, first of all, I believe in marriage. I believe in devoted relationship and devoted connection. I believe
not just casual dating.
No, I don't believe in casual dating. Me and my brother again. I bring up my brother a lot because me and him have a lot of conversation together about this stuff. And you know what? Before we get into gender roles, because it'll melt into this conversation, because it's going to melt into family units. I believe every man needs a real brotherhood in his life. And I know that's very hard to find. But my brother, again, Christian, we've been brothers since grade 4. So we've been brother for over 15 plus years. We're not blood brothers, but we're brothers by heart and brothers by choice. We show up for each other by choice. We work together. We hustle together. We train together. We work out together. We believe in everything together. And we challenge each other all the time. If he thinks I'm fucking up, he'll tell me to my face. And if I tell him that, I tell him that to my face. And that's part of the family unit, coming back to what I think on gender roles. And when it comes to gender roles, I believe that a man and a woman come together to build together. It is so important for when, this is something, again, I always can admit in my wrongdoings, I might have not always practiced. I might have not always believed. But more time on earth, the older I get, I'm getting old as fuck now, I'm about to enter my 30s. And just the older I get, the more I realize more and more and more in life. And a man has certain roles and a woman has certain roles. Yeah. A man needs to show up for a woman very differently. And this is something I learned. I can't be coming to a woman and have nothing to provide. I can't come to a woman and be like, yo, I can't pay for this, or I can't pay for that, or you're going to have to pay for this.
What are you saying? Independent queens can pay for it.
No. Independent queens is bullshit.
I'm going to play devil's advocate this whole time.
Please do, because it's going to get me heated and it's going to make this more entertaining. But the whole independent queen shit, again, everyone has a choice. Let me remind everyone, this is all my perspective. If you get angry at this just shows you are very insecure in yourself because you can't accept my perspective. This is my perspective. You don't even need to agree. But my perspective is the whole independent bullshit is stupid. Women cannot be independent. And you ready for this? A man cannot be independent in the sense of a woman needs to be a man's piece. A man needs to come to a woman and be his soft side. Make him feel seen and heard. Make him feel vulnerable. Make him feel like he can be honest. But also a man needs to come to a woman and provide. He needs to show up to a woman. If I'm broke, I can't even think about having a girlfriend. Like, that's the stupidest idea for me. And you ready for this? I made that mistake. I can admit to this. Being in a relationship, of course, for 7 years, I got into a relationship before I even had a career, before I was in school. So I think I might get a pass.
Were you a teenager?
Yeah, we were teenagers.
Okay, so that's a little different.
I was still in school. It's whatever. But now being an adult, being a man who finished school, has a good job, has a good career, I can actually speak on, I will never, ever, ever be with a woman ever again if I can't provide financially. I don't even want my woman to worry about financial
What if
things.
you guys build when you're both broke, though?
That's a different
There's
thing.
a lot of like successful men out here, like I guess athletes, celebrities. I guess one that I can think of, I guess, is Kendrick Lamar. Like you know what I mean? Like they were broke as fuck and they had a woman by their side.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And she helped build him. You know what I mean?
100%.
Well, they built each other.
100%.
And it has to work when both people are working. So like, is it like how is there a difference there? Like, what are the conditions for whether you should, pursue a woman or not?
Okay, so if you're with a partner and you guys are building together, and I'm grateful I had that in the past. I had a woman who helped me a lot. She helped build me up. I am the man today because of her. I'm someone who's always going to give credit towards due, and I give credit to women a lot because most women I know, I can only speak on experience. Women actually want to build up their man. Women are not, most good women.
It's natural.
Good women. Women naturally want to build up their man. Like even when I was broke and I had nothing, my woman would pay off my debts. My woman would help me pay for things. And I'm grateful for that. Because we built together since we were young and we were together for years, that's a different story. Because we were continuously building together. But even at a point, even building with her at a point, if I don't see a time in my life where I can tell her, okay, thank you, you've helped so much. Step aside now. It's time for me to take care of everything on the financial side. Or,
oh, I see what you mean.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even if I'm in a partnership that was continuously like we're both helping each other, we're both showing up financially, we're both showing up romantically, intimately in every aspect. I believe it's a man's duty at a point to come to that woman and be like, well, I want to show up financially now. This is just my goal again. This is my goal. This is why I vow to never get into a romantic relationship ever again until I know I can provide for my woman to make sure she feels safe, seen, and heard. In all aspects, in every aspect. So you brought up Kendrick Lamar. It's a great example because I look up to Kendrick and Whitney a lot. I love the relationship. They've been together, through the gutter.
Yeah.
They were both broke. She had to help him a lot. He had to help her a lot. But look at Kendrick and Whitney now. Yeah. Now he takes care of her wholeheartedly. And I think at a point, every woman wants that. Let's be honest. Every woman at the end of the day, even if she's helping her man at the start or helping her man in down times, we're supposed to help each other in down times. That's what a good partnership is. A good partnership is when we both can show up for each other. Yeah. At times when I might be down, you might be down. Both partners are not always going to be up. And both partners are not always going to be down. But it comes to a point where you got to recognize, shit, I've been in the same place for a long time. Yeah. And nothing's changing. And that's where discipline comes in, accountability and certain things like that.
For sure. So you mentioned clearly we know that you do agree with traditional values. Yes. When it comes to men and women in a relationship. In this generation, why do you think that's so rare? What do you think is missing? Why are people not able, why are there so many divorces, etc.? Like, why is it not working? What do you think is missing from, especially Gen Z, I would say?
Oh, man. I don't think anyone's actually, I'm not going to say anyone. I don't think most people are actually in love. I think most people are in lust. Most people are in attachment. this is the first reason divorce happens is because people are coming into a relationship so sex craved, so honeymoon phased, so ready to do everything all up in front. And then let me tell you this right now. Coming out of a relationship where I was with one girl for 7 years, it's gonna die. No matter how attracted you guys are to each other, it's gonna die. The love is gonna die. No matter how beautiful you are, no matter how nice you are, no matter what money you have, no matter anything, love starts up here because it's infatuation. It's that feeling when you're with someone, you're like, oh my God, they're so hot, they're so hot. Then we all have social media, and then you think you have all these options. You go to Instagram, you're like, oh my God, I got all these options. And then you tend to not be grateful for what you have. So then things start to fall, things start to diminish. This comes back to values where a lot of men, including a past version of myself, we don't want to build with what we have. We're not grateful for what we have. I wasn't grateful for my relationship at a point where I was like, I could have looked at my ex-partner and been like, wow, I have a great woman. I have a woman that takes care of me when I'm down. She's there for me when I need her. She shows up for me. She's building like a Kendrick and Whitney with me, or like Jay Shetty and his wife. We're building together. But instead, I can admit, being a stupid boy, I got diluted by social media. Social media it gives us this idea that there's so many options. Like, I'll be on my phone, you pull up Instagram and you're like, oh, there's so many women out there.
Yeah,
why am I just with one woman? There's so many women out there.
Yeah.
And that's toxic. That's toxic. I think social media is incredible because it's given me a career. But outside of that, it's toxic for men. It's toxic for men and women. Because why there's so much divorce is because both men and women think there's so much option out there. There's so much option. There's so much variety. There's so much things to get out from other people. And it's like, yes, you can go make continuous friends. But thinking that you need to have sex with that person, that person, that person, that person, that person, that person, you're in lust. And why marriage doesn't work anymore is because people don't even have the right purpose to get married. People are so stuck in ideologies and values and concepts.
Facts, preach.
Or like, yo, I just want to get married because I want to get married. Or I want to get married because my religion said so. I want to get married because I feel more comfortable.
That's a tough one, though. If your religion says so or your culture says so. I come from an Indian culture.
Yes.
I'm Indian. So, yes, like even in Hindu culture, I'm Christian. But you're kind of pushed to get married. You are.
Absolutely.
You're pushed, and it's kind of like forced on you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Right? So then, but then the thing is, when you look at arranged marriages, for example, it's very rare to see them end in divorce. It's rare to see them end in divorce. But in North America, divorce is like it's like a recreational, thing to do. Like, oh yeah, I got divorced, getting married again. Got divorced, getting married again. Like, that doesn't really happen in the East. It's just in the modern world, in the modern society. That's why when you hear about passport bros, like all these men are going out to Thailand and they're finding women in the East. Like, because the West is just full of toxicity and feminism. And I was going to ask you, what do you think of the feminist movement? And do you think that that has to do with why dating is so hard? I'm not saying blame women, but I'm just saying there is so many options, like you just said. Yes. Do you think that feminism, I guess, nourishes that? Like, do you think that modern day feminism pushes that?
I think here's something I'll say. You heard what I said. I said that women are very powerful. They're more powerful than men. I'm saying this loud and clear. You guys have the womb. But the feminist movement is just degrading. It's just stupid. It's bullshit. Feminism is trash. Feminism is stupid because it's just another idea. It's just another concept. It's another problem. It's another thing created. Any movement, the feminist movement, Black Lives Matter movement, LGBTQ movement, Arabs standing against whatever, Israel versus whatever, all those, can we get, let's get blunt in here?
Yes. Yeah.
Every movement created, what change has it made? What change has any movement made?
Yeah, it causes more division, I feel like, especially with the BLM. It causes a lot of division with people.
Well, the BLM was debunked.
Yeah.
The people that were running it took their money and used it on their family and ran away. And this is we're both minority people, you're Indian, I'm North African. We're both from minorities. And I can admit Even certain, like minority or not, white or not, there's people in every race and every culture that take advantage of things.
Of
They
course.
take advantage of stupid people. You ready for this? I don't blame BLM. They took advantage of stupid people. Good for them. They got their money up while taking advantage of stupid people. And feminism is just another way to make money. The LGBTQ is just another way to make money. You see companies throwing up
Interesting.
rainbow flags in this month just to rack in their money. Do you really think?
Yeah, you see the rainbow
do
flag,
you-
and then you know.
Let's
I'll
be
purchase
honest.
that.
Do you think CIBC gives a fuck about you? Do you think TD Bank gives a shit about you? No, they don't care. They care about making money. They put up their stupid, colorful rainbow flag just to make money off of you. Or during the BLM time, they'll put that BLM flag just to make money off you. We live in a capitalistic world where everyone just wants to make money
It's kind
off
of like
of you.
taking advantage of these movements in a sense,
Yes.
and using them for profit. Basically,
It's not genuine. It's not genuine.
It's not
Nothing
genuine
is
at
genuine.
all.
Nothing
so,
is
like,
genuine.
going back to the feminist thing, though, because a lot of men would argue that modern feminism is destroying, like, is putting the West in the gutter, and men don't want to marry women here. They're going to Dubai. They're going away. Passport bros. Everyone's leaving, and then the women here are getting upset about it. That's
Yes.
That's a big trend right now on social media. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yes.
But I'm all for women, like being empowered. But I think that feminism has hurt me. It's even hurt me.
Yes.
So, like, what's your thoughts on like the modern, like today's like feminism and what it's doing, especially to young women right now?
Yeah. It
Encourages bad behavior.
It's
too.
making people feel entitled.
Yeah.
It's making women feel entitled a lot. And I can be honest with that. It makes women feel like a lot of these women, let's just be honest, they're going to end up single and die low.
Yikes.
A lot of women are going to die low.
But they don't feel like that though. The gun is not pointed to their head though. They don't feel like that
They don't feel like that. Why?
until they turn 30.
It's because they're young and their skin is all clean and they look good. And then
they hit the wall.
They hit the wall. They can't have kids anymore. And no offense, they're useless. I know it sounds harsh, but women can only give birth to a certain age. And then at a point, it will hit a wall. It will hit a wall. And then women are going to be like, fuck, I can't find a good man. And it's like,
You
well,
had a
maybe-
chance to find a good man for like your whole 20s, like decades.
Yeah. But people want to waste their 20s just fucking and just having fun.
Or just, just partying and getting validation online and making social media content which is good too, but also it's like to the ego that comes from this generation is insane. I felt it too because I was pursuing music and all I wanted was attention.
Yes.
I loved it. I craved it. Like I would do music videos. I would go for model shoots. I'm still modeling. I'm still doing model shoots. I transitioned to doing podcasting, but like it was toxic. And feminism is what encouraged me to do that. It did.
Yes.
It's like be your own provider, Nikita. Go get your own career, pursue a career. But it's like maybe I should have focused on a family earlier. Because I think that would have, that's like when my parents did it. And it's a lot like you were saying, they're going to hit the wall. And this is to help young women. Like, don't hit the wall and then get depressed. You can't have kids anymore. Fine. But then you're alone. And then the antidepressant consumption is highest amongst women over 35. Why? They're successful. They're living in condos.
Yes.
They have, very, very nice clothes and fancy shoes. They can afford anything. They're driving a Mercedes. But why are you on antidepressants? So I think feminism is one of the most toxic movements in today's society.
Yes.
And I'm saying that because I'm a female. I can say that. It's hurt me. It's hurt some of my friends. I've seen women be destroyed by it. I know girls right now not giving a fuck about looking for a husband, but only pursuing their career, advancing in their career. Oh, no, I don't need kids right now. It's fine. Like you have a biological clock. That option is not going to be there in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years when you turn 35 or whatever high risk pregnancy is. What would you say to young women? Because I know that you're an advocate for men's mental health, but for this feminist thing, like, what's your thoughts on that? What kind of advice can you give for young girls?
I'd say this. If a woman doesn't want to have kids, that's completely okay. If your purpose is I don't want to have kids, that's okay. I'm not against someone wanting something. Like if someone genuinely, here's
Or
my
they
thing.
can't have kids. even.
If someone
Yeah.
genuinely wants something, you can't bash them for it. What I mean by that is if a woman genuinely doesn't want to have kids, or a woman genuinely at her heart, I don't need a husband, or I want to be alone, or I want to be an independent woman. I just want to provide for myself and that's it. That's okay. But the idea of doing it just to do it because society's telling you to do it, that's where things get fucked up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
like,
that's where
right?
they start bashing after.
Social media is like, be an independent queen. You got this. Slay.
But you ready for this? It's like be independent, queen, slay, body positivity for the women, this, that. And then for the men, it's like nothing. Like men get nothing. Men are left with the crumbs. Men are allowed to get shat on. Men are allowed to get treated like shit. Men are allowed to be discriminated. Men are allowed to get the finger pointed at. But like if someone says one thing, okay, let's talk about.
That's actually so sad.
This Usher situation. This was it Usher. The Usher situation recently.
What's that?
Where okay, and I don't keep up with the celebrity stuff, but like the names. There's this woman that was at There's this woman at Usher's concert, and she has a whole man, and she was like, dancing up on Usher or something like that. I don't want to get the story wrong.
His residency in Vegas or whatever.
Yeah, so she was at his concert, and then she was like dancing around him or whatnot, and then women were like standing up for her and being like, "Oh, she did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong." Blah 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 blah. But let's reverse the roles. If a man was doing that with a woman, they'd be like, "Oh, this man's a cheater. This man's a piece of shit. This man's a this. This man's a that." You know what I mean? So it's that idea of like
even the Chris Brown concert with the girl, like he calls fans to come on stage and then he dances on them and gives them like serenades them, and it's like no one really says anything to the girl, even if she might be married or might even have a boyfriend.
Yeah, it's totally acceptable for them. But if a man did something like that, then it's like bashing them, pointing to cheater, liar, piece of shit, blah blah blah. There's also men are not allowed to be men anymore. It's like every time a man wants to be a man, it's like toxic masculinity. That's bad. Like, and you ready for this? I'm an advocate for men being vulnerable. I'm an advocate for men being kind.
What is toxic masculinity, anyways?
It's. I'll tell you.
There's nothing toxic about being a strong masculine guy.
There's real toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
And then there's fake
like
toxic masculinity.
Misogyny is bad, but even someone like Andrew Tate, I don't think he's a misogynist at all.
Not at all.
He's an advocate. He has kids. He has, he has wives and stuff, and he's all about family, and he protects them, right? Yes. How is that toxic masculinity? I think maybe toxic masculinity is misogyny. That's different, like hating women and murdering women and the R word, women. Yes. Right? But like, I don't think when a man pursues fitness, pursues being vulnerable with his women, with his wife, or like strives to provide for his family. The hard work that men do in this country, the hard work that men do across the world, the roads that are paved, the sewage system, the plumbing system.
Where's the credit for that? Where's the credit for that? A woman can go on Instagram, shake her ass on OnlyFans, and make millions of dollars. And a man could go out there, be an electrician or construction, kill himself to be on the road that you're driving on, or this place, the studio that we're in right now. Someone had to build this. A man had to build this with his bare hands. And the guy's getting paid, what, $30 an hour? And then there's a woman shaking her ass getting paid millions of dollars. Our priority on where money is going has been fucked. Our priority on who should get paid more is destroyed in today's society. We live in a rotten society where a girl shaking her ass on a boat or a girl shaking her ass in her bedroom is getting paid more than the construction worker. A girl selling her pictures of her feet is getting paid more and living a lavish life more than the guy who's out here paving the road. The guy who's actually building the house that you live in.
Like, operating these crates that are super high in the sky and risking their lives to do it, right? That's sad. I'm so happy to be a woman. I'm so happy to be a girl. It's so easy to be a female in today's society, and I'm grateful for it. Yes. I'm actually grateful for it, and I can admit that because I see men that are lonely, and they die alone sometimes. They die alone most of the time. Women always have people around them. Women have, so many avenues, so many cheerleading going on for them, and I'm grateful that I was born a female in today's society. But going back to the marriage thing and the traditional gender roles, what generation or era do you think was the best in terms of marriage and gender roles and purity?
This is a very open-ended question because there's good and bad in every generation.
Yes.
Marriage was definitely better back in the past, but also...
What decade would you say, though?
Okay, marriage in itself was better in the 50s or the 60s.
The 50s.
Or even the
right
70s.
after the war.
Yes. People, wives were actually showing up for their husbands. Husbands were showing up for their wives. Men were being men. Women were being women. People were showing up for exactly what they need to show up at. But I cannot lie, there was also not enough choice back then. So there's very bad things going on. There's war, racism, things like that in that era. So if I have to pick like an era, I can't pick an era. I have to pick a choice again. It always, for me, always comes back to choice. Whether you're in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you ready for this? You know what? I'm actually going to say something. The 2020s is the best time ever to live in. Why? Is because you have so much knowledge around you.
Yeah, information age.
You have
for sure.
this. You can go to Safari. You can go to Google Chrome. You can get so much knowledge.
Yeah.
Ready for this? Even if people did wrong back in the day in the 50s or 60s, they didn't know any better. There was no internet.
Technology has taken us so far. Yeah.
If you wanted to gain knowledge, you would have to go to the library and find a book. Now, if I want to find, who invented the light bulb?
You
how
can
to lose weight.
you can access information so quickly in your underwear in your bedroom. Like, you could just go on your phone and find out, I have this symptom or what's the capital of this country. Like, information is so accessible to us, and it's the easiest time for anyone to become a millionaire.
Yes.
Anyone
Yes.
to become a millionaire.
And this is why this time
and I
right
love
now,
it. I love that.
Anyone could have money right now.
Yeah.
Anyone could have a good life right now. Anyone could be
So many
intelligent. Anyone
options.
could be more tapped into their intuition, tapped into themselves. Anyone could be a higher level human being. This is why I can actually vow and say, originally I used to not say, I used to say like, I wish I lived in the past. And then I realized, no, I don't. Why? Is because it's still a choice. I'm glad I live in the 2020s right now because this is the best time ever to live because we can actively make a choice to be better. We can actively make a choice to gain knowledge. We can actively make a choice to learn about what's right and what's wrong, and even beyond the right and wrong terms, because that's a whole other thing we could talk about. But we can actually learn to become better. And there's so much things that we can access to make us be better human beings, whether it be going to the gym, getting fit, getting healthy, being good at relationships. I have to admit, I'm grateful I live in today's world.
Yeah.
Is because I wouldn't be the man I am today without being in today's world.
Yeah.
Because maybe if I lived
for
back
sure.
then, I wouldn't be able to gain all this knowledge. Especially I'm a guy, I love books, but I have to do ebooks or I have to do podcasts.
Yeah, people learned in different ways.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree with that. Like, social media, I love, like, social media can be toxic, but the generation that we're in right now is, the technology, Elon Musk, us going to space, us doing certain things, us having, AI. It's incredible. Like, this is one of the most incredible generations, even though it's fallen, even though it's in a fallen state. I am also grateful to be in this generation.
Yes.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the information age. But it's just like there's so much information out there, but people are still idiots.
Yeah, people still, because
Oh.
it's this is why we live in the best time and the worst time.
Yeah.
We have so much dopamine at our fingertips, but we also have so much knowledge on our fingertips.
Yeah.
We have that balance of you can choose. It's like, in the Matrix when he's like, I have the red pill or the blue pill. It's choice. We can make our choice.
There's
and
a lot of choices, yeah, options.
actively, we still make the worst choices. We still make the most lazy choices, the worst choices for ourselves.
Yeah.
The choices that are just going to bring us lower and lower and lower and lower in our lives. And I just want to clear something up. Again, any man or any woman could make whatever choice they want because I don't give a fuck. It doesn't affect me. All I'm saying is if you want to be a better human being, you need to show up for yourself first before you can show up for anyone else. Going back to that marriage, like why marriage fails so much nowadays is because our people are going into marriage broken. People are going into marriage hurt, traumatized, and in pain. And I'm not saying you go into a relationship healed. We're always going to keep healing. But if you're going into a relationship to fill a void, you're fucked.
Yeah,
you're doomed.
that's facts. That's true.
You're doomed.
And back to like okay, yeah. So like after the 50s, you mentioned the 50s was maybe like the ideal time for marriage. Maybe there was less divorces and stuff. Even though there was other discriminatory things going on, it wasn't like like the safest world at the time. But the thing is, it's kind of, I feel like men are the ones that have to hold society, lead society,
Oh, yeah.
and create society
100%.
and leads women just follow, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But men create the culture for sure. And men are the ones that build society and build our nations and stuff and fight in wars.
Yes.
Hard times create strong men,
Yep.
and good times create weak men.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking maybe marriages were good in the 50s because it was right after a war where men were actually masculine. They were strong,
Yes.
you know, they were, patriotism, and they just won a war. They were real men, strong,
Yes.
the army, like, you know what I mean? And like now it's just, I have never seen a society full of so many effeminate, weak men in
Yes.
today's
Man.
world.
I was
And
one of
it's-
them.
And
I was
it
one of
makes
them.
me as a woman that does abide by traditional values, and I do want to be in my feminine flow, and I'm learning to be, in my soft space and be hopefully be a mother one day, hopefully, have children, have grandchildren, be a teacher, be a nourisher. I need there to be strong men. I
Yes.
need there to be, because I'm scared. I don't want to fight a war. I can't fight a fucking war.
Yes.
Like, don't put me on the front line. I don't want to be pushed for that kind of equality. Do you think we're headed towards maybe something that's going to reset everything?
Whew.
That's like the last topic we'll talk about, but that's a big one.
Yes. Okay. So let's start with the quote you brought up, and then we'll dive into
Yeah.
that. So, hard times create strong men. So let's say this again. Hard times create strong men. Good times create weak men. And I can attest to that, because why we have so many weak men nowadays, including a past version of myself, is because I was always having good times. Bro, I'm so fucking fried, bro. Yo, let's go play those video games, bro. Yo, let's go play some video games, bro. Let's go play some sports, bro. Let's go have some fun. Bro, I'm gonna go fuck on that bitch, bro. Yo, I'm on Hinge, I'm on Bumble, I'm doing all this fun stuff. Yo, I was always having good times. And because I was having good times, I was a weak man. And it was the fact that I started I put myself in hard times on purpose.
You're probably on had low testosterone levels too.
Low. My testosterone was down here. And that's why I was unattractive. On top of me being fat, because I had no testosterone in my body, on top of me being fat, I was very unattractive back then because I was a weak man. I had no signs of strength. I had no signs of leadership. I was not a leader. And most men nowadays are not.
No.
And I love talking about this because I don't sit here and I don't claim that I was this perfect man all the time. If I was this perfect man all the time, there's no purpose of me being here. There's no purpose to take advice from me. But the whole reason I want men out there to take advice from me is because I was in your situation. Again, I'm going to talk directly to men out here. I was that weak man. I was the man that was always seeking good times, seeking good sex, seeking good weed, seeking getting drunk, seeking the club, seeking the party life. And I was always in these good times, releasing dopamine in my brain. And because of all those good times, I was a weak, low testosterone, low level man. And this idea that high level man is misogynistic is ridiculous, because a high level man is what's going to lead the world. Let's be blunt. Every good leader was a man. And it's because coming back to gender roles, is men have certain roles that they need to play and women have certain roles.
Exactly.
As I said, I want to come home to a good woman who's going to make me vulnerable, who's going to make me soft, who's going to give me that place where I can unload and be comfortable.
And there's nothing wrong with if your man wants a sandwich, like if Jamal, do you want a sandwich?
He's looking hungry over there. He definitely need a sandwich after this. She's going to go to work.
There's nothing wrong with even though he has strict dietary restrictions because he's super in the gym and stuff.
I'm proud of you, bro. You inspire me. Y'all gotta check out my boy Jamal after this, bro. This guy's body is crazy.
Yeah, and I'm so proud to be with him. But I have no problem picking up after him, doing his dishes, cleaning for him, cooking for him. I find I feel good. I find value, and I don't understand why you females out here put such a bad stigmatism on that. Why can't he cook for himself? Why can't he do his own dishes and he's probably going to be, risking his life doing the most to build a family with together. like that's the least that I can do.
Absolutely.
Right? So I don't
Absolutely.
like being pushed into this equality thing. I don't like being pushed into a masculine role when I want to stay in my feminine, right? Having a job is good. I'm running a podcast that you could call that, you know, being a bit masculine or taking like, no, but I just wanna,
everyone at the end, not to cut you off, everyone at the end should be able to sustain themselves.
yeah, I want to be able
everyone
to
should be
have
able
my
to
own thing.
sustain
I have a
themselves.
degree and stuff like that. Like I still
Absolutely.
worked for my own, like I still want to build myself as a woman on my own for my kids, or maybe I have a daughter one day and I could be an example to her. But, and I have bad habits too. I'm not perfect. But what I'm saying is like, we when women are more masculine, I feel like men are becoming more feminine. And it's like they're becoming weaker. Society is like falling, like it's getting worse and
We need
worse
to embrace
and worse.
that. We need to embrace the man being the divine masculine and
Yeah.
embrace the woman being the divine feminine.
We should celebrate men taking
Yes.
taking control, being authoritative. Like
Absolutely.
I grew up having a very strong. We grew up having a strong father, a South African dad, Indian man, you know, who grew up in apartheid.
Yes.
That was hard for my parents, right? They brought us here to Canada. I'm an immigrant, right? But I grew up looking at my dad. He was always the one that was like, I never felt unsafe. He was stoic and he kept us safe. And I always felt like that's like, it's so important to have a father figure. So
Absolutely.
important to have a father figure. I
Absolutely.
never ever felt in danger when I was in the presence of my dad. And like, I feel bad for people that grow up fatherless or don't have a strong masculine father, because I think the epitome of masculinity is fatherhood.
Absolutely.
Like that's the whole point. You do all this to become a father. Even Andrew Tate would say that.
Absolutely.
Right? They're removing good even the court systems
Yes.
favor women, favor
Yes.
mothers, even though she might be a shitty mom. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Pay child support, this, and that. The judge will always favor, not always, but the court system even favors women.
Most of the
And
time.
it's like, it's a fallen society. And I even don't even know if I want to have kids, because our society is just so like really messed up. And I kind of want to wait for a reset first, but I can't.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like, I just really like, do you think there's hope? I believe that there's hope because there's God. But like,
Yes,
what do you think is
absolutely.
going to happen in the next 10 to 20 years with the world?
I
And
believe,
in regards to what I just was talking about.
I believe there is hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it all starts with being in service to each other.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, you want to be in service to your man. You want to come to him and be of service to him. But he also wants to be of service to you. And this is the problem with partnership in general, in regards to what you said, is people don't want to be in service to each other in general, right? And I think this is something women need to understand, is a lot of women nowadays, they expect the man to lay down the red carpet, and what are they doing? It's the idea of
Yeah.
feminism again. It's the
Yeah,
idea of
it's
like, I'm a woman, like, you better do this for me, you better do that for me. But are you ready for this? It's on you. You're attracting the wrong type of man, and that man's attracting the wrong type of woman. If you're a woman who's already, like, you know, you're a good woman, you attracted a good man, naturally. I'm going to sound, honestly, it's going to sound shitty right now. I don't think we're going to move to a time where it gets better. And it sucks. And the only reason I think that is because if you look at what we know, you look at the past 2,000 years that's written in history, nothing changes. Nothing changes. We think things change. At the core, things might change. Elon Musk might come and create something. And, as Steve Jobs created the iPhone. And, like, we have this microphone now. Or, there's certain things that have changed. The physical things have changed. You know what I mean? At our core, have we changed as human beings? Honestly, no. Most of us have not changed at our core. We're all hurt, little children on the inside, depending on someone to tell us what to do, instead of getting off our ass and actually knowing who we are, why we're here, and what our purpose is. And that's why I don't think we're going to change. I think we're actually going to get worse, unfortunately, the way society is moving right now.
It gets worse before it gets better, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's another thing. I hope it gets better, but it comes back with awareness, knowing that you need to be of service. This is something we can also get into, but the podcast will be 7 hours long.
Yeah.
But we won't make it, that long.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. I believe, to sum it up, that men and women and human beings in general need to be good people. It becomes so simple.
Yeah, just be a
We'll
good
bring it
person.
to the simplicity. Be a good person. Listen, at the end of the day, if you want to be an independent woman, sounds good. If you want to be an independent man, sounds good. If someone has their own belief system, if someone wants to move a certain way, incredible. The problem with society, though, is this idea of pushing it onto others, is nothing needs to be pushed on someone else. Your belief does not need to be pushed on me. Everything I said in this podcast, not everyone needs to agree with.
Yeah.
A lot of people could disagree with it, and a lot of people could be like, fuck that guy and fuck what he's saying. At the core, there's certain things that women are better at than men.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that men are better at than women. So how I can close this off by saying is, I think we just need to realize what we're better at and kind of focus our energy in that.
Into that,
and the
yeah.
fact that we're calling men toxic masculinity for wanting to know what they're better at, or wanting to be healthy, or know that they could provide more, or they could, be better in fitness, or use their voice louder.
Yeah.
The idea that we need to demasculinize men, tell them to shut up, tell them
I
to
will
accept
never advocate
everything.
for that, guys.
Also, like, accepting everything is the most bullshit thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, letting everything go. Like,
we need rules. We need boundaries. We need structure.
yeah, the old me would have been like, fuck rules and fuck all that stuff. Let's be free flowing, and no, that doesn't work. That's bullshit. We need things to live by. As much as identity is stupid, like having titles,
Yeah.
good identity is important.
Good reputation.
Yes, and knowing who you are as a person, knowing what you bring to the table. And it comes back to the family unit, society. If you don't know what
Definitely.
you bring to the table for yourself, to a woman, in a relationship, in your career, in your life, you are doomed. You are fucked. Know who you are. Know what you represent. Wear it proudly. And most people today are afraid to talk because they're afraid to get canceled. And I can loud and clear say I'm happy that I don't give a fuck about getting canceled, because cancel culture is bullshit. It's fake. It's a lie. And you might be in fear that your podcast gets canceled after this, and it won't. Even if people say cancel. It cancel what? Someone's perspective?
Yeah, it's your opinion, man, and it's your walk of life. But this was a very good conversation. We've been talking for like an hour and a half. This was amazing.
It felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
it
how great
did. It
it's
did.
been.
Well, good conversations always feel like a lot shorter.
Yes.
And you're right. We could totally talk about more things, and you're totally welcome to come back. But I just wanted to give you the opportunity to say, like, well, first of all, thanks for coming. That was a great convo. But like, you have like about like a minute to just. To give your last words on what you would, want your followers to know, how, if you want to help people, etc. So like, you can talk into the camera and just give your last words on the podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a message from Mr. Creed. I want to let y'all know that your depression is bullshit. Your anxiety is bullshit. You are creating it in your fucking head. You can literally change everything you want by making the actions in your life. You think you're depressed? I thought I was depressed. I thought I was anxious. I thought I was sad. And then I realized I had to get off my ass and just become a better man, especially men right now. Okay? But anyone could take this advice, but listen up, get off your ass and make the changes. If you feel depressed, inquire, learn how to ask questions. The answers are out there. You just don't know how to ask questions. If you want to not be depressed, then don't be depressed. It's a choice you make. This idea that we need to take pills because we're depressed and all this man-made bullshit is fucking false. How are you eating? Are you eating a fucking Big Mac and oily shit garbage chemical fries, and then eating pizza and eating snacks full of chemicals, and then relentlessly having sex and throwing your sexual energy out to people, and then you're like, I'm depressed? And then sitting around lazy, not hustling, not putting in work into a purpose and into a goal? That's why you're depressed. That's why you're anxious. So all I need to say here now is, if you want to become a better version of yourself, if you want to stop becoming depressed, if you want to stop being anxious, the choice is in your hands. Discipline, discipline, discipline. If you incorporate discipline in your life, I promise you, you will cure your mental health problems. And we'll get more into that in a part 2.
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. This conversation taught me a lot, and I'm so happy. Your energy is great. Well. I'm learning a lot, and we will definitely have you again. Yes. Hopefully next time we'll have a panel. Yes. Because I'd like to have a discussion on a table with maybe other people. And then I wanted to get even more heated. So, but Absolutely. This was great. This was fantastic.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for having me be able to outlet my truth.
Of course, man. And I'm always an advocate for men's mental health, and for men to get strong again, and for men to be men again. So I'll always have people like that come on the podcast and advocate for that. So thank you for being truthful.
I'm grateful for you.
Yes. So that was our podcast and our discussion here with Lazzarus Creed. I'm your girl. I'm your host, Nikita Russell. And we're out on The Heat with Keats.
The clouds.
This is Lazzarus Creed, and you are now watching The Heat with Keats. Subscribe for more.